Africans are becoming all too familiar with. As the electricity crisis deepens, businesses are losing clients, homes go hours or even days without power, and traffic everywhere slows with robots out of action. eNCA reporter Nqobile Madlala is out and about in Durban, monitoring the impact at eThekwini. Let's cross to her now to give us the latest. Good afternoon, Nqobile. So what's the situation like where you currently are in Durban?
Well, good afternoon, Britain. Well, in Durban, we've seen quite a number of areas that we've visited, and a lot of them have just complained about the importance of having power and not having it on time. I mean, in one area, we were able to go to businesses around the area, and we were able to speak to some of the people that were in those businesses in areas like restaurants. And most of the people that we spoke to, they spoke about the issues of being able to function. So some of the people talking about the fact that they have people that they pay to basically clean their house, make sure that the house is up and ready, but that means it's about 2 hours of not being able to do that. Things like doing iron, things like vacuuming and so on. And this impacts on their homes, and also it impacts on the time that these people will need to go home, because it's 2 hours out of their working hour, it's another 2 hours that comes, so it sort of goes on to 4 hours, and it becomes very difficult for them to be able to control such, especially because it's not something that one might have planned. Other places that we went to spoke to us about the fact that they are now trying to invest in things like generators, but not everyone can afford generators. A lady that we were able to also speak to was just telling us that it's very difficult for them. They're in an old age home. Some of the people need assistance, and it becomes very difficult for those people that are in areas where they need to be assisted to be taken out. It gets dark in some areas. So it's very, very difficult for a lot of people that have homes to function, that have areas that they need to be working at. And when you talk about work, Britain, as well, you'll note that some offices need to have telephones, they need to have printers that are working. All of that is not functioning for a certain amount of time, and it's just impacting on an overall service delivery that they need to deliver to people, but also at the same time it's impacting on their daily lives.
So I understand you spoke to some business owners, and what did they tell you how they've been affected by the ongoing blackouts?
Well, Britain, when we were around town, there are some areas that are restaurants run, which are like Amashisanyama, Britain. And these areas, we know that these restaurants mainly need these fridges to be working because they store a lot of meat. A lot of people would come to braai. A lot of people will come to also get the already made food. So it needs to be warmed up and it needs to be given to customers. Some of these businesses, we're talking about the fact that they don't make enough money to be able to afford things like generators. Some of them have already invested in things like UPS, and they're saying that it's not working, and they don't know what to do. Some of them still need a bit of assistance. Some have said that they need funding, they need governments to step in and assist. Others have said that they've been lucky in a sense that some of the places that they are currently renting at do have generators, but it's one out of how many people that have buildings that are fully functional in that sense. But what it means for them is that at the end of the month, they need now to budget for that amount of money that is going to go to the building that they're already renting to, that is going to be giving them power when there is when there's load shedding, so that they're able to function. So a lot of businesses talking about this expense that they did not plan for, because diesel is already expensive, and now they must add to that, and they've got people that they need to pay. Some of them have like people that they've hired that are about 40, 30, but now they need to think of how they can cut down on the cost, and essentially that means that they now have to cut down on people's jobs, so it impacts on people's jobs as well. But let's listen in to Andrea, who runs an Italian cafe, and he was just saying that it even impacts on the fact that there's criminality, and some of these people could take a chance, especially when it's dark.
We managed to get a generator, which also cost us a lot of money to go through the 2 hours and sometimes 3 hours of load shedding. We have had up to 15 hours of load shedding because there is damages to the units, to the power stations, due to the the fact that when the power comes back, either is it too much and blow out the stations, or there is some sort of sabotage. For instance, in Brownsdrift Road, we have no lights, cables are being stolen, and Riverside Road, which is a very busy road, there is also no lights because cables are being stolen. So only in certain areas close to Bird Park and Roadhouse, that's where there is a little bit of light. But the rest is all in darkness at night. And of course, there is an element of crime that brings with it, because obviously the streets being dark, it's easy for criminals to hide in between bushes and houses. So we ask please the Tukwini municipality if they can sort this out for the safety of everyone.
A Durban-based businessman there just expressing the challenges of the impact of the ongoing Eskom blackouts, ending that update by Nqobile Madlala.